Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. Again, I say hello. I hope you guys had a wonderful Sunday. Whether you were at church, you were at home eating, you were relaxing on the beach, whatever. I just hope that you had a really good day. I am your host, Stevenson, also known as Stephen Smith, my birth name. I want to welcome each and every one to Obawa Radio, where we're dedicated to the promotion of literacy and the advancement of authors and writers from unrepresented groups. Again, my name is Stevenson. That is my stage name, and it's such a blessing to be on this show today. And we have a beautiful, melanin-infused woman that's on this call today. I want to introduce you guys a very special guest. When I had a chance to read her stuff, read her information, her bio, her press release, everything, I was like, oh my gosh, we're in for a treat, and it doesn't require you to go to Golden Corral, for those that know about that place. I want to bring on this line right now. Her name is Miss Tina M. Honey. Miss Tina, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. How are you today?
Oh my gosh. Like that honey, it's something about that honey. When I looked at that melanin infused face, I said, oh my gosh,
honey bee.
Honey bee. It's like Queen Bee said, you want to rumble with the bee, huh? Yeah, right, so we got the honey bee on the line. Oh my gosh, I just got to tell them about you before we move on. Let me tell y'all something. This beautiful woman right here was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. I love what's going on right now. Y'all are really making come back to life. I appreciate it. Tina is an information technology project manager by profession and the president and founder of Phoenix Experience Incorporated. It is a community outreach organization located in Delray Beach, Florida. For y'all that don't know, that's Palm Beach County. I'm from West Palm Beach, and I look forward to really uprooting and upraising my sister on this call right now. That's my neck of the woods. She uses this organization, which serves as a platform for her speaking engagements and workshops, where she leverages her life experience and training as a certified professional life coach, y'all. She helps others to overcome various roadblocks and tragic events so that they may achieve their full potential in recognition for Tina's professional achievements and community service contributions. She is a part of an American organization called Ms. and Mrs. Corporate American Organization that named her Ms. Delray Beach in 2012. That's a true high accolade in that area, trust me. She holds a bachelor's degree in airway computer science from Morris Brown, and I'm a Brown guy class in 1995. Woo, woo! Oh my gosh. We just got so much in common. I feel like Bobby and Whitney on that song. We have something in common. Come on, Jesus. She obtained her bachelor's from Morris Brown in Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all know about the A. She's obtained a master's degree in software management from the University of Detroit, Mercy. She's often described by her friends as self-motivated, generous, and gregarious. Tina credits her desire to help others to her loving adoptive parents, Mr. and Mrs. John and Louise Honey. They instill within her the philanthropic and spiritual foundation that drives her today. Her book, Honey, Make That Money, Don't Let It Make You, is a first in a 3-part series that Tina has written as a part of the Phoenix Experience. In it, she openly recounts the intimate details of her life, the adversity she faced, and how she courageously charted a new course. Tina looks forward to the many conversations and healings that this series sparks. I introduce to you all none other than Miss Tina M. Honey. Give it up, y'all. Show us some love.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
NBC for life.
Yeah.
Morris Brown College. Shout out to Morris Brown College and all my alums there. Shout out to all my folks in Detroit.
Detroit in the house. 313. Did I get it right?
Yes, 313.
Okay. Oh my God. So Miss Tina, it was a blessing to go over your bio. I was getting life off of it, and I advise everyone, please make sure you guys check out the Phoenix Experience. You're gonna have to get this book once you hear this lady tell you her story and tell you everything truly as to why she wrote this book. Because trust me, it's like an open vessel. You're just walking into her whole house. when she describes the way she's going to describe. So my question to you is first, giving your shout-outs, is there anybody else you want to give a shout-out to? Because I know Mom and Daddy might be listening. Or
well, of course, my mom and dad, because my birth, mom and dad, Moselle and Nathaniel, Moselle Porterfield and Nathaniel Green, because if not for them, we wouldn't have even had this story.
Okay.
And,
awesome.
Of course, my adoptive parents, they passed on now, but Louise and John Honey also, had it not been for them, I would not be where I am today and who I am today.
Okay. Well, rest in peace to the Honeys. But they saw something great inside of you, and they gave you their name. And so this child's going to be special. We don't know what she's going to go through, but we're going to take it on, Lord, and we're going to trust and know that you're going to do some great things to this lady. So that's a blessing right there.
Yeah.
So my question to you, for many people, when did you first decide you wanted to become an author?
I was 18. I was in the parking lot at BJ's strip club, and I said, "Man, this is a making of a book." But I never really thought I was actually going to write a book. It's just as life kept going, and then one day I decided, I really need to write this down. This is something that people could really, learn from, the adversities and different things that I've gone through. And just throughout life, people have always reached out to me and asked me for, advice. And that's kind of where the life coaching came in, because people know I'm going to give it to you straight up, no chaser, and raw. I'm not going to hug you with it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to tell you where it is, and you may not like my answer.
That's what I love. You might not like my answer, but I learned about people like you. You'll draw more people into you. Like they say, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Exactly.
You have the right name.
Yes, I was blessed with the right name.
Yeah, because people will draw to you more. Oh my gosh, she's so frank, she's so honest, she's so real, she's so this, she's so that. And people will be like, man, I need to meet this lady. I need to connect with her. Hey, can I exchange phone numbers? Can we do something together? Because I like your spunk. I like your character integrity. You got the gift, but that character integrity gonna keep you there. So that's a beautiful thing. Exactly. Now you said something that you said something that put a light in my head. Okay. You said you were at the parking lot of a strip club. What exactly sparked you when you were at that strip club? What sparked you to say, I don't know, something had to hit you?
Well, because, at the time, I think I was like 18, 19. I was dating drug dealers. I was in a strip club. I had been through some sexual abuse already. And, as you start looking at other stories that go on and you hear different things, I'm like, hey, I kind of got a making of a book, but my stuff is real. I can tell, I don't have to make up a story. This is all real stuff. And that's what kind of, got into my head. Hey, maybe one day I'll write a book about this. But like I said, I never really thought about actually writing the book and that it would be real life stories and lessons to learn from that. Because I remember I'm 18, 19, still learning. I can say that my parents instilled, God in me. So therefore, a lot of things as you go through the book and you see different lessons learned of how I, wrap it up and bring it to the either a Bible verse or some quote, is because of what was instilled in me from my parents. Okay,
so you're rearing versus what you faced in life. It all just came together for you. Because you had to reference back, as you said, to your parents teaching you, right? And the Bible.
Exactly, because there's a lot of that rearing that kept me on this side of the line instead of going across to the other side of the line, because there's a lot of opportunities that I could have been in a totally different place today, and I would not be talking to you being free. I might be behind bars.
Okay. And guess what? Like you said, those experiences kept you, but you said the word, what they were teaching you kept you saying, oh, no, I'm not dipping my toes over there. Because I'm watching you get bullet holes, you getting 30 years, you're in the grave. I'm not doing that.
And and still, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you still don't have a clear clue. So there are still some things that I stepped over the line, and it was by the grace of God that things didn't go in such a negative way that I ended up behind bars. And I write about that in the book. I talk
Okay.
about it because a lot of things I didn't really realize how serious some of those things were until I wrote it, and I'm like, oh my God. One of the examples is I talk about a drive-by, and there was a situation where a guy owed me some money, and you 18, 19, 20 years old, you young, dumb, and stupid, and I had a girlfriend, her boyfriend had just got out of jail, and I said, I went and told the story, and he was like, well, you want me to handle it? And I said, well, sure. And we go by, I call the guy, let him know that, are you going to take care of it? And he say no. So her friend handled it, and I called back and said, yeah, that was me. Now, I didn't really think about all of that until I started writing this book. And I said, you know what? What if something would have happened and that guy would have got killed or that guy would have got shot? I was like, that was premeditated. And it made me think and how I wrapped that lesson up. It made me think of how so many adults convict or judge 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and they're like, oh, they're not thinking about taking somebody's life. They're not doing this. I said, you know what the problem is? You're judging them from a 40 and 50-year-old mindset. They 18, 19, and 20. They stupid.
Exactly. They're children.
They're children. You don't think about tomorrow when you're 18, 19, and 20 years old doing stupid stuff. But when you get 30, 40, and 50, you start thinking about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And you realize certain things, you just got to act like you got some sense, and you got to really mature up. And so I have a 22-year-old son and an 18-year-old son, and I constantly talk to them because I'm trying to get them to understand. I understand you don't know yet. You haven't had that experience.
Exactly. And for those that don't know, let's give them a little bit about the experiences in Detroit. We see it now. All that's going on is happening with the economy, with, poverty and all that. Tell them us a little bit about some of the experiences that you've seen out there, because Detroit is considered to be a very dangerous city.
Well, Detroit is coming back, and, just like any place, you're going to have crime. Detroit is coming back strong. The downtown is thriving. People are moving back. The economy is starting to pick up. Like anything else, things go down and they come back up. So they couldn't go any further, and now they're rolling back up. And Detroit is a great place to go and visit now. Downtown is growing. So many businesses are now coming back downtown. People are visiting there. So, you hear in the news certain things, and it's just like, when people complain about Chicago, and then I have a lot of friends from Chicago, and they're like, yeah, but they're only showing you the bad stuff on the media. Well, that's the same way, the news show you about Detroit. There's great things going on in Detroit, so I wouldn't tell people to be scared to go there. Go and visit, enjoy, because there's a lot of stuff to enjoy there.
It really is. Okay, thank you for that. They need to know, because when they read your book, they're going to see what you experienced from then till now, and it is thriving. So I applaud the mayor and all of those that are in the governmental positions to make it really what it's meant to be. So get up to that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, this whole book started because I was stolen at 3 months by my maternal grandmother and thrown into foster care. So, I started thinking about various adversities that people go through. And as I started going through life and going through the various adversities that I wrote about in this book, I realized that a lot of the lessons that I learned each time I went through an adversity, that was something that other people could learn from. And that's kind of where the whole Phoenix experience came from, because every time you go through an adversity, something negative, and if you can come out of that in a positive mindset and moving forward with a lesson learned, you're reborn. And that's how Phoenix Experience was born. So that book is full of Phoenix experiences.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was thinking that because Phoenix, when I think of Phoenix on X-Men, she was the strongest and most powerful X-Men. And that's what you explain even in your book. Though you've been through what you've been through, you came out, you overcame, and you pushed it out your way to say, I'm going to be an overcomer of this. It won't get me. And people need to hear that. They might be going through a similar struggle that you've been through to know if you can do it, I can do
Anybody
it.
can do it.
Anybody can do it. But you had your strength, you had God, you had your faith, you had belief in yourself, knowing that this is all for a reason, and I'm going to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, so, and you have to embrace each experience and really understand why you're going through that. Because that's the only way you're going to be a stronger person as you continue to move forward.
Okay, exactly. So what I noticed that when I was reading your bio, it took you a minute to write this book.
Yes.
And tell the people how long it took and what was the process like that you had to go through in order to write this book.
It took close to probably when I actually started writing it, it took me about 5 years. It probably took about 15 to just really, I just kept putting pieces down on paper and putting it to the side. It took me about 5 years from start to finish of the book when I actually said, okay, I'm going to do it. And my biggest struggle was really, I never wrote a book before, of course, so it was trying to figure out, well, how do you put it in order? How do you come up with titles? How do you, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know about editors and proofreaders and all this other kind of stuff, development editors. And as time went on and I started meeting the right people on my team, the process started coming together. It was very frustrating in the beginning because when you know nothing and you don't know anybody to ask those questions, it's very frustrating to try to start writing the book. But as I started meeting different people throughout my life, putting those people on my team, and we all started kind of working together, things started coming together. I have one lady, her name's Nadej, and I have to say that she was my consultant because she kept me off the ledge of every time I was ready to jump when, you get frustrated, businesses don't want to do what they're supposed to do when it comes to your website, when it comes to editing, when it comes to proofreading. So it's all about finding editors and proofreaders that understand your voice. I had a lot of different people that tried to change my voice, and you probably can tell from my personality that's just not going to work. So I fired a lot of people.
It's okay.
Because you're not going to tell me how I think or how I should say it or how I should, feel or anything like that. I'm telling you how it was and how it is. There were certain scenes in the book that people didn't, they felt like, oh, that's too graphic. People may be upset or people may not. I said, well, that's not my problem. I'm telling you how I saw it. I can't help how somebody else may view it. I'm telling you how I viewed it.
Exactly. Exactly. And like you said, they tried to misconstrue and change it and embellish and soften and make it fluffy. No, my life wasn't fluffy.
Right, it wasn't fluffy, and I always exactly, and I always said it. I'm the middle class kid that had hood-like experiences, but was blessed enough to have enough common sense to not go totally over the ledge and end up somewhere that was not where I needed to be.
And I want you to expound on that just a little bit because, kids that come from the suburbs, they come down to the ghettos and the hoods and want that culture that they see down in the ghettos, the music, the fashion, etc. I want you to expound on that because some will never know what it's like, and then when they see it, it becomes a culture shock to them, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is, because you experienced it. You now know what to avoid, what not to avoid, and what to deal with. Just give them a little bit on that.
I was green as green could be. I didn't know nothing. All I did when I grew up, we went to church twice a day on Sunday. We went to Bible class on Wednesday. And if it was vacation Bible school, we went that all through the week. And if it was a conference, we went to that every week. So all I did was go to church and go to school. And I was involved in some extracurricular activities. So when I tell you I knew nothing about the hood, I knew nothing. I had never even seen a roach till I was 20-something, and I wrote a funny story in my book about that I freaked out because I didn't know what it was. I wasn't even understanding. So I really had no clue. I was this kid walking around got involved in some with people that I had no idea about. I didn't even know what cocaine was. I wrote a funny story about that, too, in the book. I thought it was dust. I'm talking to a drug dealer, and he tells me to go sit in the room, and I don't know what he was doing. He was meeting with somebody, and I went to the bathroom. The mirror was dusty, and I wanted to look in the mirror. I don't know what I was looking in the mirror for, but I wanted to look in the mirror, so I washed it off with soap and dried it off real good and looked at it and went back to the room. He comes into the room. He comes back in a few minutes later. He said, "Hey, did you go to the bathroom?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you use the mirror?" I said, "Yeah." And I'm giving him the look like, "What's wrong with him? What is he talking about? I used the mirror." So he just laughed at me. He left, and he came back later. And I said, "What's so funny about the mirror? What's the big deal?" He said, "Tina, that was cocaine." I said, "Well, what is it doing on the mirror?" He just laughed again because he knew I ain't have a clue. I literally was this green kid that ain't have no clue. I'm mixed up in some stuff I don't even know what the heck I'm mixed up in.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean. And that's what I mean by I came from the middle class and I had hood-like experiences that I didn't even know what I was getting myself involved in. Wow. And it was just a blessing of God that I say that guided me to, okay, this child is a little stupid. Let's help this kid out because if not, she's gonna end up somewhere that she has no business being.
Mm.
And I never wanted to be part of the hood. That was never any desire or dream of mine. And I don't really understand why kids who haven't seen it, the kids in the hood want to get out. So I've never understood why the kids that's in middle class and on the other end want to get in. That never made any sense to me.
Because it's exciting.
I guess so.
Exciting.
I guess so, but I never thought getting... I never thought getting shot at and possibly going to jail could be exciting.
It's an adrenaline rush. People are drawn to drama. Look at the reality shows and what's going on today. They're drawn to drama. And that's what you're seeing. It was exciting, it's exhilarating, and it's a rush. So though you were not drawn to it, when you were drawn to it, you like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But you knew better. Let me come back and over here and put my khakis on and my polos and my ponytails.
Let me get out of here. Exactly. Some things were just a little bit too exciting for me.
Yeah, but it was a learning experience so you could help others as well. So.
Exactly. Definitely learning experience.
So let me just segue into another question. Give me the rewards behind writing these books and being an author. What are the rewards for you? Considering you never knew how to write.
For me, it was getting the story out. I just felt like I didn't feel like necessarily my experience was any different than somebody else who's may experience some type of adversity, but the difference is that I was willing to share my story and that people may be able to get something out of that story and feel like, oh, I'm not alone. There's a lot of things that I went through. One of the stories in the book is about rape. And when you talk to a lot of women, date rape, a lot of women let the rape define them. And I didn't let the rape define me. So to talk about that story, a lot of women won't even talk about it. And I felt by talking about it, other people will be like, oh, you know what? I see how she handled it. Oh, I'm not alone. Let me try to, look at it the way she's looking at it. And I just didn't let it define me. And so those types of stories are usually, especially in our community, very quiet. They're kept very secretive. And a lot of women try to deal with things on their own, and they're not dealing well. So women need to talk to each other about things. And when you start talking to each other, you'll find out that you're not the only one that have gone through some type of similar situation, and you don't have to try to suffer alone. You can have a support group to work and talk through it with you.
So to expound on that, why is there such a taboo in the African American community? They're not willing to talk about it. Why is it such a taboo?
Well, here's a funny story. And I'm in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, and we just had a conversation similar to this, and it was a scenario about this particular one was about a man and a woman that was married, and this woman had went to some other city for business, and she had reached out to an ex-boyfriend to have dinner. And she put on some nice clothes because she wanted the ex-boyfriend to know that, hey, you this is all what you missed because she's married now. Well, fast forward, they're walking back to the hotel, and he walks her to the hotel room, and instead of okay, thank you, goodbye, he decides to rape her. Well, the reason why I say it's interesting that you brought that question up because there were some men that had comments that, well, that was her fault because she put herself in that position. Now, it circles back to your question. The reason why people don't talk about it, the reason why, especially in our community, because there are a lot of people that feel like women put themselves in positions to be raped. No one puts themselves into position. No is no. It doesn't matter if I walk around naked. If I didn't invite you, then no is no. But in our community, it's kind of like, oh, well, it was her fault, the way she looked, the way she dressed, the way she acted. That's just a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of ignorance as far as I'm concerned. And that is why you have so many people in our community, they don't talk about it. They're ashamed. They don't want, the mom or the dad or the uncle. You have so much of that going on. And more I talked to different people when I was writing this book, I found out so many different women who had been through that, either abuse before they were 18 or, once they became an adult. And they didn't tell anybody because they were ashamed because they thought it was their fault.
Yeah. And your book is going to help them to be unashamed. And come out of
I just tell you, I tell you how it is, and I tell you, don't let that incident determine who you are.
But understand this, they're going to need someone like you because you went through it, and God gave you the strength to come out of it, and then to write about it, to help other women, and even men to come out of this. So yes. Your book is going to play a pinnacle part in their lives. So I'm going to advise anybody right now to get that book. Make sure they go and check it out. And I'm going to repeat it again because I know it's going to do great things. And then, you could do tours and conferences. People are going to need you.
Exactly. It's interesting. I was raped twice. Once when I was in junior high school, and then once after I had graduated from high school. And, again, the situation, based on that conversation I told you we would have, people would say, oh, well, you put yourself in that position. The second time I was dating a guy, and I didn't know that his friend also wanted to talk to me. So after I go and me and his friend hang out, we do what we do. I didn't know that the friend, they had a conversation, and they had hooked up where, oh, okay, I'm going to leave, and then the friend was going to come in. So when the guy goes out, here comes the other guy coming in. I'm like, what are you doing? So I was raped. I didn't put myself in that position. How was that my fault? I didn't even know the guy was there. But people would say, oh, that was your fault. You shouldn't have never been there. There's always, silly stuff. So women shouldn't listen to that. Women should stand up, go tell the police, force the issue. Don't let people get away with violations. Of course.
Okay. So, and how did you get out of the situation?
Well, after I got tired of fighting with him, I was like, well, I guess he determined he just wanted it, so I just laid down, hope he do what he got to do, hopefully he enjoyed it and keep it moving. Because what else you going to do? I got tired of fighting. I determined, well, I guess he's not about to, get up, so let me just go on and let him do what he got to do. He was finished, we moved on, and that was that. Oh, but I wrote about it in my book that I told my boyfriend, and that was a whole different kind of a situation about a year later.
Okay.
It was fights. Let's just say that in the mall.
Okay. So I got to get back to these questions. So I want to make sure I don't miss anything, and bless you with the time that you're allotted. So since you overcame it, you became a highly educated woman, a life coach, an author, and many other great things. So now you're handling this, and not only are you handling this very well because you seem to be at peace with me, seem to be at peace from what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Besides being an author, now you're a businesswoman. Your book has become a part of your brand. So how are you handling the business side of all that you're doing with your book as well as everything else?
Being a project manager, an IT project manager, I'm very task-oriented. So I have the task down. I'm accustomed. This is not the first business. I used to be a personal trainer. So I've done several things prior to this book. So I've had some practice in being in business. I used to be a real estate appraiser when I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia. So I've had a lot of experience running a small business before. So this is just natural to me. And I just took on becoming a travel agent. So I'm now a certified travel agent.
Are you Jamaican? For those that don't know, she's laughing because she knows what I'm getting ready to say. In Florida, Jamaicans are known to work 2, 3, 5, 10 jobs. That's why I asked her. You know what? You're laughing because I was going to go there, right?
Right. That's all right. I got a couple of Jamaican girlfriends, and they was like, "Oh, you are an honorary West Indian."
Yes. So I just want to feel those that don't know about the Jamaicans that live in Florida. They're very hard-working people. They really are.
Yes.
And the proof is in the pudding because they have nice things. They live a great life.
Yep, they sure do.
Okay. So let me ask you, was there ever any time that you wanted to give up? And if so, what was it that came about that made you want to give up, if that was the case, in writing this book?
I would say there were many times I wanted to give up. Like I said, I've ran into a lot of people who wanted to change my voice. And when you run into those people and you don't really know where the next step is or who to go research to try to find, some other editor, because after a while, one editor starts to seem like all editors. They all seem to tell you the same thing. So I got tired of trying to, kept running into the wrong people. But like I said, I was blessed. I had a consultant with me. Actually, she used to be my coworker. She was also a project manager, so you can kind of understand how that mindset works. And when I'm ready to jump off the edge, she would say, "Step back, Tina, I got it. I'll go find an editor that I think would work best with your personality." And so there were many times throughout just trying to do business, creating a website, doing business, trying to create your social media, just anything and everything that goes along with the business. It's very frustrating when you consistently run into the wrong people. So, this second time around, I feel a lot more confident because, I've learned some lessons, lessons learned from the first time, some shortcuts that I don't have to take, the same route from the first time. And I almost have the formula together. I'm not completely finished. I have one more person I just recently hired, and I want to see how they're going to work on the team. But this second time around, I'm looking for a much smoother transition. I'm in the process of writing it, and as I was in the process of writing part 2, I realized I had to write part 3 all together. I couldn't break it out like I did part 1 because it's so much intertwined between the two. I can just say that, as you know, at the end of book 1, it talks about I went on to Hotlanta. So part 2 deals with Atlanta, and I'll give you a little nugget for part 3. Also deals with Miami. So we're between Atlanta and Miami.
Oh my gosh!
For part 2 and 3, so it just gets wilder. If you thought part 1 was wild, part 2 and 3 gets even more wild.
Yes, I can only imagine with Miami, as they say down there in Spanish, Miami, because Miami is a me mess.
Yes.
But I love it. Yes. I love it. You got to get in and get out.
Yeah,
it's Sin City number 2, but they'll find out in your next book.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Now, you talk about bullying in your book.
Yes.
It stands out in your book. Give people a little bit more information. How did you find the strength to get out and overcome that, to face these bullies? And do these issues still bother you today? Because there are people that could be online right now that have been bullied and still being affected by it, and their children could have been bullied. So tell them a little bit about how that all came about in the end for you.
So Tina Honey, the elementary school kid, was listening to Mama, who was very prayerful, always in the church, and said, "Well, baby, you just turn the other cheek." And after a while, I was like, well, they ain't reading the same Bible that my mama reading, because when I turn the other cheek, they just hit me another one. Or they just hit me. Or I've had, I had kids walk me home and beat me up walking me home. My mama standing on the corner, and they would stop beating me up a couple of blocks before I see my mama waiting on the corner. So for a whole elementary, I'm getting beat up, and I'm like, no, I don't know what Mama talking about, but this is not going to work for me when I go to middle school. I'm about to change this up. I don't know where the attitude came from, but the attitude was enough of this BS. So I got to middle school, and I had a couple of kids that tried to bully me. And I don't know, but this one particular guy, he had caught me on the wrong day, I guess. And I took him, we go outside, we're fighting, and somehow I got a hold of his jacket. You know, we're in Detroit, so it was cold. We got our jacket, and I started swinging him around, and I somehow got and started choking him. Well, I kind of blacked out because I'm choking him, and I know everybody thought I was crazy because I'm choking him winning the fight, and I'm screaming help. Because all I could see was me just squeezing this kid's neck, but I'm screaming for help because I couldn't take my hands from around his neck. So I'm sure everybody thought, she crazy. She look crazy. So finally, you know, it all kind of comes back together, and I let it go. And now we walking home. There's a girlfriend of mine that we used to walk back and forth to school every day. From that day forward, ain't nobody mess with me. They never was messing with her because she already was a little touched. But no one messed with me no more. They just was like, oh, that girl crazy over there. And so here's my thing about bullying. And it really bothers me today how things are being handled compared to how it was when I grew up. With the constant running, it's one of those touchy situations, but I'm going to say it anyway. With the way a lot of people are handling bullying today, if I didn't learn how to handle bullies when I was in elementary school and middle school, I would never learn how to handle bullies when I'm in corporate America, because I have been bullied in corporate America.
Say that again, because it'll follow you. And if you don't deal with it then, you don't deal with that issue, that root then, it's going to follow you. So say that again.
I learned how to deal with bullying in middle school because I didn't know how to deal with it in elementary because Mama said turn your cheek. But in middle school, I said the turning cheek is not working, so I got to do something. Once you handle the situation, people leave you alone. And I continued with that thought process throughout, because when you get to high school, when you get to college, when you get to corporate America, there's nobody to go run and tell in corporate America. You can go tell if you want to, but they're going to fire you at the same time.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to handle certain situations. And my two boys, I raised them the exact same way. I say, don't start it, but make sure you end it.
Now, when you said make sure they end it, how did they go about, like, what did you tell them as far as end it?
Well, you know, if you put your hands on me, I'm going to put my hands back on you.
All right.
Nobody should be touching nobody.
Yes, exactly.
Never.
Respect me. Respect my space. Exactly.
And respect your space. But don't. So I always told them, do not start it. But if somebody starts it, make sure you end it.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, moving on, you know, I'm looking at this cover. Is that you on the cover?
Not this time. I'm going to be on the second cover.
Because it looks so much like you. I said, whoa, my goodness, honey. You making that
that was one of my alum, Jeffrey Miller. He also went to Morris Brown. And he did my first cover, but I'm going to be on the second cover. I have a picture from college that I'm going to use, and so I'll be on the second cover.
Okay. What year did you graduate from Morris Brown?
I actually came out in 94.
Oh, you came out a year before me. We probably know each other. We'll talk after this.
No problem. No problem.
Graduated in 95. Class of 95. Okay.
Right, okay.
So who's the one that did the cover, and also did you contribute to it in any way?
Yeah, Jeffrey Miller.
Jeffrey Miller.
Yeah, he's from Morris Brown as well, and I just gave him an idea. I told him what I was looking for, because I'm not creative. I just know what I want.
Exactly.
And so he just kept working it until I got to what I wanted, and so that's where we went from there. And I got some ideas for my second one, and so you know we'll see how we're going to change it up for the second and third one.
Okay. It's a beautiful cover, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you guys check it out when you have a moment, especially when you're going to purchase it. We'll give you guys more information at the end of the show. So, did you encounter any writer's block? If so, how did you get past that?
Well, since I'm writing about myself and things that have happened, I didn't have writer's block. All of the stories and books that I have in my head and books that are partially written on paper are all memoirs.
Okay, so let me rephrase that question. I apologize for cutting you off because I've written a book about myself, and it was very hard because there were some things that I suppressed. My question to you is, because of what you had to remember and bring back to memory to put on paper, was it hard for you to continuously writing this because you had to relive these experiences? And if that's the case, then how did you get past it and keep going?
So I will say that writing the story, excuse me, wasn't hard, but I was going through a lot of other personal things while I was writing the story. So I had to learn how to get to a point that I couldn't be too depressed and I couldn't be too happy. Because if I was at either end of those two spectrums, I couldn't write. I had to be somewhere in the middle. And so over the course of time, I learned how to be able to continue to write regardless of what my mood was, without getting sucked in to the situation. Because in the beginning, yes, I would get sucked into it. And either I'd be too happy or I'm too sad, and then I couldn't write. So I had to learn how to...
Right. Your emotions
so I had to learn how to be in the middle. And so now it doesn't bother me because I can continue to write whatever because I understand how to deal with my mood.
Okay. And I totally get it because I was emotional. It was a roller coaster for me, for my book. So I totally get it when you're writing about yourself. And like you said, I don't know how to write, but it's like a journal. So when you put it down, the emotions, the issues, things going on, situations, bills, life, children.
Right.
And you put all this in these pages. So I totally get it.
Yep.
So, have you had a book signing, or are you planning on having a book signing coming up?
I actually have 2 book signings that I'm working on. I have one here in Florida, looking to do that next month. We actually, a friend of mine, we were just talking about some dates, so we're looking to do something next month. And I'm also looking to go to Detroit. There's 2 dates I'm looking at. It's not solid yet, but 2 dates I'm looking at in Detroit. And then one in Atlanta in October. Okay.
Make sure we're going to mention that again, and they can get this information from off of your site. And
yes. I will be posting on the site once we confirm the dates and place. But definitely August, we're looking to have a book signing here in South Florida, looking to do a book signing in Detroit either August or September. We're just trying to solidify the dates, and then doing a book signing in Atlanta in October. And we're kind of wrapping that around homecoming because I go to homecoming every year for Morris Brown.
I have been for years. I think I need to make that trip so I can meet up with you this year.
yes. I can't miss homecoming, Lord willing. So, so those are the time frames, and we'll definitely be posting that on my social media sites and on my website as we confirm those dates and times and places. So, look forward to that.
Awesome. So, speaking of social media, what other methods besides social media are you using to get your word out about your books?
Right now, it's been also friends and word of mouth. I've done some ads. I've been kind of playing around because as an independent author, you don't have the same access that you do from someone who goes with a company.
Okay.
And so I've just been kind of playing around with different ways of getting the word out. And so I'm still, still a work in progress. Still a work in progress, but Instagram right now is pretty much the way to go if you want to get in touch with millennials, and I feel like a lot of my audience are millennials.
Millennials, okay. So you have that age range between 20 to 50.
They're the ones that's going to buy. They buy everything.
They do, and they're in the age of computers and social media.
Yeah, millennials buy everything. So they're a good group to focus on, but my book, people always try to box me in to say, well, what age group, is best for your book? But really, my book is anywhere from 18 to, 100 plus.
Yeah.
You know, there is no boxed in age group, and it's men and women. When I first before I actually published, I did a little focus group, and I had men and women read my book, and I had positive feedback from both.
Okay, awesome. That's good. That's good. Okay. So by you being this melanin-infused woman of color, I love that. I have to use that somewhere. That just came to me again. What inspires you the most, and who inspires you the most?
I inspire myself. I wouldn't
Come
want
on
to be
now.
anybody but myself. Why would I want to be anybody but me? I'm trying to be the best that I can be.
Okay. So just give me a little more, because you said I am inspired by myself, because of what you've been through, what you've endured, what you've had to face, and all that. So you're inspired because look of all the achievements that I've done, and I've written a book coming through all of that hell. I'm my greatest inspiration.
I am. You know what I noticed when I was younger, and, you know, because let me tell you, I'm still 23. My son said, I don't know how that's going to work because I'm 20, because he's 22. I said, that's because you're just going to keep passing me up. But what I noticed is that I saw so many weak women. They would be weak about the various things that they would go through. And I said, I never want to be like that. And I took this attitude of, well, I'm going to be the strong for all those who are weak. I'm going to be the one that's going to continue to push forward. For those women who are too weak to move forward, to push forward, I'm going to be strong for them. That was just that attitude I took. I don't know where I got it from, but I didn't like being weak.
You spoke it. It was already in you and granted for you to raise up. You're a phoenix. Phoenix overcomes all things.
I just didn't like that weak, so I said, I'm going to be strong for all those women that can't be strong themselves.
Okay. And that's what you need to be. That's what Phoenix is. Like I said, Phoenix was the strongest. And when I saw the true power that Phoenix experienced and what she showed, I said, oh my gosh, she could beat Magneto and Professor X. And the Magneto, his powers don't work on you. That's my friend right there. I know what to get when I have to fight. Come on, Phoenix.
Right. Exactly.
You're a warrior, so that's a beautiful thing. Women of color, please take light to this. Miss Tina Honey is letting y'all know you are your greatest inspiration, and you got to find that strength in God and within yourself to know I'm greater than this, I'm better than this, I'm bigger than this. Your words have power. What she spoke years ago is now manifesting today because she believed in herself and her soul took and connected with those words she spoke. I appreciate that. That also goes for the men, too. Don't forget, some of you have been hurt and damaged, too, so you'll benefit from this book, from what this young lady is speaking. The 23-year-old Miss Tina.
Right.
So, since you kind of like segue to my next question, because you're your greatest inspiration. So, are you your biggest influence, or do you have others that have influenced you?
I've seen there's been a lot of strong women that I've just seen throughout my life. You know, teachers, certain politicians, certain just various actors, just different women that I've saw throughout. Nobody necessarily in particular one way or the other, but just I'm driven to people who are strong. I'm very opinionated. Most people that know me know I'm quite opinionated, but I'm driven to strength. Whether it be man or woman, I'm driven to strength. So I just don't understand when someone say that they can't do it or they don't know how to do it or they don't know how they're going to get past it. And I, too, have been depressed. I have been deep. And it always kills me when people say, oh, well, just, tomorrow will be all right. No, you've never been really depressed if you don't understand to tell somebody that tomorrow will be all right, that that's not the right thing to say. Because they're trying to get to the next second, not to tomorrow. That's a whole lifetime away when you're talking about tomorrow. But you just keep going for each second. You don't live for tomorrow. You live for the next second when you're down like that. And so I always knew, well, suicide is not an option. That was never an option.
Okay, now.
You just got to figure out how you're going to get to the next second. And once you get to that second, then you worry about the next second and you continue on until you can pull yourself back up.
Exactly. I like that. Strength comes from within. When they take your strength from within and they snatch that away from you, you have nothing. So you got to gain your strength back and know that you're stronger. Our minds and our bodies is the strongest thing on our bodies, our minds, and the most powerful thing on us is our tongues. And
Yes.
people got to realize, you speak, you shall have what you speak. And your mind says, no, I'm not doing this, because you know that from the ranks of where you came to where you are. So it's helping many people, even on this call today. So, I mean, I don't even know if I should ask this question right here, because you're so open. But I'm going to ask you anyways, because I'm trying to make sure I keep this time. Have you ever done something in your past that you regret? And if so, how did you get through it? This might be a short answer.
I would say that I would say yes. I have a incident that I think that I feel that I regret it, but at the same token, I would not be who I am had it not took place.
Yes.
You know, it was something minor, but in the big picture, it was, you know, something big to me when I think about it later. But, you know, I can't be who I am today had I not experienced that.
Right. Your life situation shaped and molded you to be who you are today, not just for Tina, but for others. Because, see, one thing I know, when God allows you to go through things, it's not about you. It's for others.
Right. And there's nothing, you know, a lot of people have asked me before, well, you know, you mean you don't regret being raped? Well, of course, no one wants to be raped.
Of course not.
But going through that situation made me a stronger person. Maybe I would not be as strong as I am had I not gone through certain situations. So, of course, I don't want to have gone through any kind of negative situation like that. But I am who I am today, and I'm able to tell the story to try to help somebody else because I went through that.
Okay, exactly. And that's the beauty of being able to put your life in a book, stand on a stage, do a play or a movie and go, this is me, and you'll draw many men and women to you because they'll go, wow, I needed to see this because I was contemplating suicide or this or that. But because I saw you, Tina, because I read your book, Tina, I'm still here saying, God, use me. You know, you turn my pain into a purpose. That's what he's done. Your pain is into a purpose. Okay. So I know you told me sometimes you get depressed, but how do you get through those tough times when life tries to throw you those lemons?
I would say it was probably about 10 years ago, and I really went through a really bad period. And it was funny. My sister and I, that's a whole nother book of meeting my birth sisters, my blood sisters. But my sister and I were talking, and we just kept talking because we knew suicide was an option. We were both going through some hard times, and we just kept talking to each other. We knew, you know, what each other was feeling. We knew what each other was dealing with. And we just kept talking to each other until we, you know, moved past that. There's a lot of times, you know, my parents used to always call them storms. And a lot of people in church will call them storms as well. And once you understand the purpose of the storm, then you understand to quit trying to go against the storm and ride through the storm. You got to ride it out.
How do you teach a person to ride out a storm that some people may be on like, what is she talking about? Or how do you ride through a storm?
You have to quit trying to push away the lesson and open your mind and open your heart and figure out what lesson is trying to be taught to you for you going through what you're going through. And it's not always a pretty lesson. It's not always an easy answer. Because a lot of times I may say, I have no clue what the lesson is, but sometimes it takes longer. As soon as you open your mind and determine, okay, I want to figure out what the lesson is, and I'm just going to let things flow and let things happen and keep my mind open and keep my eyes open, you'll find that storm ends a whole lot quicker than you constantly pushing back.
Exactly. Anchor yourself because you can't skip the process.
Can't skip the process.
Anything we go through is a process. You get your education.
You know, it's always good if you have somebody that can go through the storm with you.
Yeah, you need that support.
You need the support system, and a lot of people don't have support systems, but it's great if you have somebody that you can confide in, talk to, you know, just let you just vent.
Exactly.
How you feel and not judge you about what you may say or how you feel.
Exactly. You need that shoulder to lean on. I might need to cry. I need you to come over here because I feel like I'm getting ready to do, I don't know, whatever. So you need that support system. It's going to pray with you, encourage you, lift you up. Come, let me lean on your shoulder, cry, whatever. Get it out. Get it out, because we're going to walk through this thing together.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. All right, y'all. I hope y'all are taking notes out there because she is giving you all of this valuable information for free. I'm also soaking it in as well. So tell me, pretty much, what is one goal you want to accomplish for yourself in 2017? If you have an
I like to finish book 2.
Me too.
I like to finish it. You know, the problem is that I got a couple of books in my head and a couple of books I started. So I have like 3 other books that I'm writing. It's, you know, that was finishing the series, and then I'm writing a book about love, heartbreak. And I've been playing around with how many stories, and I've kind of played around my mind of how I'm going to shape it, but I've just been kind of writing the stories down. But it's never going to end the way most people think it's going to end. I'm not one of those, oh yeah, it's just always going to be the same kind of ending. No, that's not me. It's always going to be a hook to it because that's just my personality. And I'm also writing a book on menopause.
Oh, wow. Well, I won't be reading that one, but.
Well, you know, I think, but it's definitely a book for men because it's, a lot of men don't understand when they have their wife or their significant other, they don't understand what the woman is going through. So it's a book for men as well because it helps them to understand how to handle, how to help, how to support. I don't never leave the men out.
Yes. And you know what? You know, it's so funny, right? When you think of the word menopause, if you break it down, it's actually like when you're going through that time, it's like, men, pause, stop. Men, pause it up, stop. Put it on hold. I don't need no man right now. I don't need that foolishness. I need you to just put it on hold, and I'll get back to you when this is over. Thank you.
Exactly.
We have to deal with it. It's like, okay, all right, baby, sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me go move for a couple of weeks because I don't know what you might do. But no, that's good. Yeah. Oh, you know what, men, we need to take light to this because when women are going through menopause, they need to be very sensitive and understanding. Even if they just snap, go off on you, or get upset, you got to understand what a woman has to go through. Thanks to Eve. Thank you, Eve. We appreciate you for what you've done to me. Really do. Really do. So we're almost done, so I want to make sure I get these out. We have a couple of minutes left, and I want to make sure. So what do you have planned next? Give me at least a minute on this one if you can.
Definitely the book signing in August. In August here in South Florida. That's the next thing that's coming up immediately.
Okay, so we're getting ready to close out because we have a couple of minutes. So I want you to give these people as much information on how readers and others in the literary community can reach you, whether it's for speaking, hosting, for conferences, whatever. Please give them your information, how they can reach you.
Sure. You can go to my website that you can contact me with everything. It's www.tinamhoney.com. Again, that's www.tina, T-I-N-A-M as in Mary, Honey, Honey.com. That also has all of my social media on it. You can find me on Facebook at Tina M. Honey. You can find me on IG at Tina M. Honey. You can also find me on Twitter at Tina M. Honey. And you can email me there from my website, and if you want to get in touch with me for any speaking engagements or do a book signing, I'm available, and you can get in touch with me there, and we'll go from there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the mouth of Miss Tina M. Honey. Don't forget, the book is Honey, Make That Money. Don't let it make you. We can make this a mantra. Honey, make that money. Don't let it make you. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it's out. It's available. Tell them where they can find your book also.
They can find the paperback and ebook on my website, TinaMHoney.com. You can purchase both the paperback and ebook on my website.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and guess what, you guys, before we close out, because I got to give my love to you guys. Tina will be hosting the next show. So make sure you guys are on. She will be the new host on the next show. I won't be there. Don't cry. I understand. It's okay. She's going to take my place. She's full of energy like me. So make sure you guys catch Obara Radio next week. Same time, same place. Same phone number. We thank you again. I love you guys. God bless you. May you have a week full of blessings as I will walk in my blessings. You have a great night, everybody, and take care of yourself. Love you guys.
Thank you.